So, Barry, I'm telling you, I am stoked by this idea. For me, the uniqueness, the legacy feel, promoters working with each other but against each other, it has everything. 5 versus 5 weight classes named on a social media video, but only the weight classes at the weekend. One heavyweight, one featherweight, one middleweight, one light heavyweight, and His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh also choosing heavyweight. Obviously, this is the undercard to Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, which you could just go and watch on its own anyway, as the undisputed light heavyweight title. Let's go from the bottom up. Who ideally? Well, let me get your view first of all. By the way, how exciting is it, and how innovative are the Saudi Arabians? How innovative is His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh to come up with this idea? And just, yes, they're working together, but now they're working together and against each other, and there's points on the line, and there might be a second one at Wembley Stadium, all this kind of stuff. I think it's brilliant. I am sold on it.
Yeah, I came up with the idea a few years back, but nobody listened to me. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It really, it's like the FA Cup draw, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's unbelievable,
yeah.
and you can just you can just never end with this, because you can go, no, this is going to be at the highest level. So you're going, long as the fighters are of the same ability, at the same level in their career. So you can't have a world level fighter box a British level fighter, of course, or that would be totally unfair. Just because you've got fighters at the weights, they got to make sure it's an even sort of a evenly made match. But you can do this forever. I mean, you can just have a domestic, or just have a below British level top five, a European level top five, and just a world level. And like, this one's going to be a world level top five, and this is unbelievable. And I can't wait to find out the names. We have an idea who it might be, but we're just not quite sure.
All right, well, I'm going to go for my perfect picks. Okay. Featherweight, first of all, I would like to see Ray Ford. I'll do Warren's fighter first and then Eddie second. I'd love to see Nick Ball in a fight with Ray Ford. I think it's a great featherweight scrap.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna have the same picks here, so this might be a quicker section. But yeah, that's what I would go for. I think it's an absolutely great fight. Nick Ball proved. I thought Nick Ball won the world title in Saudi the other week.
How did he not win that world title, by the way? Because if he lost the first 6 rounds and he won the last 6, which was pretty clear, fight of 2 halves and 2 heights, I was calling it, and he got 2 knockdowns. Like, he won 114, 112 clear for me.
It's madness. I thought it was an easy fight to score, which I don't see very often, and yeah, the knockdowns were the difference in the fight. That's all it was. Ray Vargas was fantastic at times, but Nick Ball just proved he was a different level, and the power made the difference in the fight, which so often it does. So I think he's there. Ray Ford have shown he's not just a fantastic boxer; he's as tough as they come. Absolute the way he won the way he won his world title is how you want to win a world title. You don't want to be in a fight like that, but that for your memory and for your legacy, if you what you want to call it, that's how you win a world title. He was absolutely fantastic. So those two are just a fantastic matchup.
Absolutely. Middleweight. I'm going Hamza Shiraz against Hamza Williams, and they've kind of put it out there. And again, Hamza Williams, rising star, Hamza Shiraz, rising star. They're both meeting quite early before I think both are nailed down to be world champions in my view, or will fight for world title belts. But what a scrap this is going to be. Both powerful, both with their own styles. Quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. I wasn't sold on Hamza Williams for a while, but recently he's brought me around. I think he's a really good operator, because he's a little bit wild, he was at times, but Hamza Shiraz, even though he had a couple of hard fights, Bradley Skeet being one of them, of course, he's had a really good apprenticeship, I think, with his career, and now he's moved up in weight. He looks better, more powerful. I thought in Poland he was absolutely fantastic. He really was. Against Liam Williams, I think Liam Williams is not the fight he once was. So that was an easier fight, a good fight on paper, but an easier fight than it actually looked in the end. But I mean, the fight before that, he was awesome. He really was. I think this accurate power, just real class about his work, and he will go in a favourite, I think, against Hamza Williams. I really do. But it's a great fight, and Hamza Williams has that power and that tenacity to really put it on Hamza Shiraz.
I love you saying tenacity.
Tenacity.
Yes. The one thing, what I do think is going to happen in this fight, Barry, before we just jump onto the light heavyweights, is Hamza Shiraz is going to be hit harder and more often than he's been hit in any fight so far. And for me, that's going to be the big test. I mean, he's a brilliant person. He's got a great team around him. His father's wonderful. You know that his father played cricket for Gloucestershire, was a fast bowler, and bowled out the West Indies one day, Brian Lara and a group of others, and has got his own history of going down the wrong tracks. And that's why he's always with his son, because he wants his son. I mean, he's a brilliant person, Hamza. What I've always said to Hamza, please work on your footwork and your angles, because he always reminds me, I mean, he's got incredible power, but he always reminds me of those Rock'em Sock'em robots. Do you know what I mean?
I do, but I would also say that you've got to punch inside your body frame. So that what that means is you turn your shoulders and your hips into the punches. But doing that sometimes, so punching straight down the line all the time, when you're a tall fighter, is probably better than trying to get more angles, because you start getting angles, you start leaning your body close to the target, giving the other fighter an opportunity to hit you back. So we're talking about he's going to be hit hard and he's never been hit before. Ammo might not be able to get to him because Shiraz hits, and he hits from range. He gets that uppercut nice and long. He throws that right long hand. He's got to get past that as well. So he's going to have to take a leap of faith. Literally, he might have to leap into the target, and there might be fraud. That's all. For Williams getting to the target, fraught with danger there. There's 2, 3, 4 shots that he might have to evade or walk through before he lands.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying I don't. I love Hamza's high guard. It's always there. He's a great guy anyway.
I see what you're saying. More variety to his work. Yeah, it makes sense.
Light heavyweight. My dream fight is Anthony Yarde against either Callum Smith or Craig Richards. Eddie Hearn's kind of thrown Craig Richards out there into the ether as someone he'd like to be on that card. He's even said it to me a couple of times. Anthony Yarde, Craig Richards, Anthony Yarde, Callum Smith. But obviously they're trying to do Anthony Yarde and Joshua Buatsi for the UK this summer as well. But any one of those I like. That IFL TV have thrown out Craig Richards and Willie Hutchinson, by the way. Willie's obviously won last Friday at the York Call. Love Willie. Crazy character. But who have you got?
I would rather Yarde versus Callum Smith. I think I really do. I think that's
now or never as well for that fight. Yeah,
and I want to see Yarde Buatsi, but I mean, you can't. The money for that fight in Saudi will be too much to turn down. And Smith is Smith's a fantastic fighter. I think a light heavyweight as well, and I think he's shown loads of strength. Okay, he's better Biev, but that's better Biev. So but I mean, that's a really good fight, and also for Anthony Yarde, as good as he is, and I think he's been fantastic. He hasn't got that signature win. He hasn't. And let's be honest. It's amazing to say, because he might be our best light heavyweight in the country, but he hasn't got a signature win.
Absolutely.
We rate him off his tremendous performances in defeat, which is a novelty in itself, but a danger as well about that. About can he get over the line? There's those little questions. I think he can, and I think it might be right for him right now to box a Callum Smith. But Callum Smith is technically very good, has power, and and he's been in boxing all his life, so he never panics under pressure. Even if he does get beat, he never panics. So with Yarde's power, a part of that is he hits you anywhere, and he makes you rush your work because you worry about not taking another shot. So,
well, Yarde came to the sport late, didn't he? I don't know if you know this, but Tessa Sanderson picked him up when he was younger as a javelin thrower. And picked him up and threw him. Yeah, but when she picked him up as the right physique for it, I mean, the guy's an Adonis physically. I mean, he's just unbelievable, and a beautiful human being as well, who has come from a very, very tough background.
Real good role model, Gareth. That's what he is. He's the
absolutely. No, you can't not love the guy, frankly. And I just think, whatever happens with Anthony Yarde, he's always going to be remembered by the fans. Certainly those 2 fights with Kovalev and Beterbiev anyway, keep him in the standing in the minds of fans. But like you say, be great to see him on there. 2 heavyweight fights. Neither of these have been confirmed, although the fight between Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang has been put out there by some people. but denied by Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, by the way, and myself, because I'd heard other things in the background. I don't know, but in mind of minds, in the dreamscape, I'd love to see Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang. Let's go, bang, guys! And I think if that fight happens, I think Zhilei Zhang knocks Wilder out, unless he gets knocked out by Wilder.
I don't want to see it. I think it's an awful fight to watch.
Really?
I think someone will get knocked out, but and I think it might be Wilder because I think he's lost his edge. But I think it'd be a real scrappy, audible fight. The Zhang can be a real danger, but again, against Parker, though Parker was brilliant, he didn't throw any punches. But every time he throws a punch, he's fantastic. If he wants to throw 4 punches around, that's not good to watch for anybody. And Wilder is awful to watch until he lands with a big shot. And he always has been. But he's been good to watch because he puts you to sleep. But like actually, we watch most of his fights, all of his fights actually, up until the point that he puts you to sleep. It's horrible to watch. It's not even boxing half the time. He's just a guy who's massively athletic with crazy power. He hasn't learned the fundamentals. And he's gone away from the people who were teaching him the fundamentals, I feel. So that's not a great fight for me to watch, but it'll be this. We'll remember the finish, and the finish will be fantastic. So that's all that matters. But the other heavyweight fight, no, Daniel Dubois versus Filip Hrgović, that's a
if that comes off, that's a great fight as well.
Brilliant fight. And,
yeah, it is.
And a fight I never thought I'd mention. I thought Hrgović was on a trajectory that Dubois wasn't going to get to. But Dubois has reinvented himself, I think, and in 2 fights, one in defeat, admittedly, but he put up really good fight. But
he did. Gave Usyk a lot of problems.
He did. I don't think Usyk was in any danger of ever getting beat. Forget about this. Let's not talk about the low blow debate because it wasn't. But
I think it was. I think it was borderline. I think
it was. I mean, it was.
I think Usyk milked it.
It was a low blow. I'm sorry, I got my words wrong. It was clearly a low blow, I should say. I'm sorry about that.
But he milked it. You
would milk it. But I mean, if it wasn't, if it was, who cares about that? Let's not get into that. But I mean, against Gerald Miller, he was fantastic.
Yeah,
he boxed the right fight for that.
Yeah,
but now you see him if he can do that, coming in with full of confidence. If he can do that against a live opponent, a real live opponent in Filip Hrgović, who didn't look great in his last fight, I didn't think either, really, or the fight before, I should say, didn't look fantastic. The last fight, he had a gimme, didn't he?
Against Mark Tamori,
yeah. But the fight before that, he didn't look great. He looked lackluster, I thought.
Against Zhang, you mean? Oh no, it was after Zhang. I've had him losing to Zhang, by the way, by a round.
Dempsey McKean, didn't he?
Dempsey McKean. But I had him losing to. He did. He looked a bit slothful on that night. He didn't go through the gears, but he could be the guy. Outside the top 3 or 4. He could be the guy, couldn't he?
If you're ticking boxes about what you need for a world-class heavyweight, he ticks most of them.
Yeah.
Big, powerful, good jab, good feet, takes a shot. He ticks all those boxes, but he can be quite lackluster. And Dubois now is boxing with a different mindset, I feel. It doesn't matter that division's changed because we're not. Joe Jokes don't know on nobody's lips anymore, and Daniel Dubois is. It don't seem that long ago that he made Dubois quit. It's just the crazy that heavyweight division is just madness. It's literally like a barren land of boxing. Anything goes, and anything can change with one punch. Madness.
Absolutely. Well, at the moment, I mean, the great thing is, none of those fights are confirmed. By the way, we're just talking about dream fights, and hopefully they all come off, or that we might even get better than we've just put out there. The great thing at the moment, Barry, is like you say about the heavyweight division. I know my top. I mean, obviously we work in the sport, but I know my top 16 in the world now. And I'm playing with it on a daily basis. I know it in my head. There's not a day goes by when I don't talk to someone in the street or in the industry about heavyweight boxing. And literally, it's fascinating, like you say, to go from Fury, Usyk, Joshua, Parker, Zhang, Hrgović, Wilder, Bacoli, Dubois. You can even throw Chisora in there. Ngannou, Frank Sanchez, Makhmudov. I've lost a couple there, but Jared Anderson, there's 13, 14. I mean, it's an amazing Agit Kabayel. There's an amazing division there at the moment. And like you say, you could literally pick balls out of a hat and create a tournament at the moment, say outside the top 4, and you go, so-and-so fights so-and-so. You could do it with 12 balls, couldn't you, with their names on and their numbers on, and you're going to get great fights. And all it took was intervention, investment, interest, because most of these guys are late 20s, early 30s to mid 30s, and it just needed the catalysm of movement and investment. And we've got a great end to an era in the next 3 or 4 years.
But also, all these heavyweights, all these fighters, especially at the world level, should take a leaf out of Joseph Parker's book and Anthony Joshua's book. Fight often.
Yeah.
Fight often.
Parker, 5 fights in 14 months. Joshua, 4 fights in 11 months, Joshua. And 5 fights for Parker in, 13 to 15 months.
I got to think, more fights, less camps.